Okay, so what initially started off as an April Fool's joke for Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis has now been revealed to be a real new event coming to the game, and that is Final Fantasy Ever Crisis Academy 7. A new event for the game that takes our characters, puts them in a school environment in the style of a visual novel, and looks like shenanigans are going to ensue. So we're going to take a look at that stuff in today's video. If any of that sounds cool to you, feel free to click the like button, and if you're new here and you'd like to stick around, you can subscribe. All right, so when this was first revealed on April 1st, I'm like, this is funny. It's cool, and I kind of wish it was real because it just seems like it would be a lot of fun. But as I was investigating the images and looking at the artwork and the fact that they launched a website for it, I'm like, okay, they put an awful lot of work into something that was only meant to be an April Fool's joke. And here we are, a few weeks later, revealed that, yeah, this is actually real, it's happening, and it's coming to Ever Crisis. So to start off first, we do have some words from Tetsuya Nomura, who was on the Japanese Ever Crisis livestream, just kind of talking about the genesis of how this came to be. Thank you to Genki on Twitter for transcribing it for us. Genki goes on to write, Nomura says he actually doesn't really like April Fools, as he doesn't like lies. He said when they brought the idea for Ever Crisis Academy to him and told him they were really going to do it, then he gave it the okay, as it won't be a lie and they will do it for real. So I kind of just like Nomura being like, yo man, we can't lie. We cannot lie to these people. This has got to be real. And then when they actually told him like, yeah, it starts off as a joke, but it's going to turn into something very real. He's like, okay, yeah, you guys can do it. Also, Nomura does speak very, very briefly on Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. Unfortunately, he doesn't give new information. He just lets people know he can't say anything, but they are currently working hard on it, and he says to please look forward to it. So it's nice to know that Nomura is a little bit more heavily involved with this. I don't quite know if he was super heavily involved with Rebirth. I know he's such a busy dude. He's got Kingdom Hearts 4 to worry about. He's even talked about in past interviews maybe retiring one day after Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out. So he and Katase, these are people that have tons on their plate already. So they're probably kind of giving a lot of thought into the end of their careers and, you know, what they want to do. But again, we should be getting some more info on Remake Part 3 sometime in the summer, leading into that 2-year anniversary for Ever Crisis. It's also worth noting that Cody Christian, who is the voice actor for Cloud Strife, recently posted this photo to his Instagram stories saying, so happy to be back with my bestie. Yes, he's in a VO booth with a weird little animated Cloud, and he usually refers to Cloud Strife as his bestie. So it's looking like they're getting the ball rolling on recording all of the dialogue, at least in English, for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. And I'm assuming it's for Remake Part 3. As far as I know, Cody doesn't have any other VO jobs, and of course he has that little weird Cloud Strife hanging out with him. So this is exciting, and let's just get the hype train rolling right now, why don't we? So let's get into Ever Crisis Academy 7. So I've never played a visual novel game. I'm fully aware of them. The first one that comes to mind is Doki Doki Literature Club, which is a thing. But this is actually really, really cool. We start off first with the story synopsis. And it reads, the city of Midgard, which maybe was supposed to be Midgar, but they wrote Midgar, either way. A short distance from the bustling metropolis is known as a home for academics, yet beneath its refined exterior lies a hidden world where young delinquents fight day and night, their lives governed by one rule: might makes right. At Midgar 7th High School, Cloud wields his bat, seeking ever stronger rivals on his quest to become Midgard's brawler, First Class. However, Cloud's childhood friend Tifa is wary of his reckless path and hatches a plan to reform the combative youth. Behind the scene, Midgard's top brawler Zack and the school's big bad Aerith are up to trouble of their own. All of this sets the stage for the ultimate showdown, where the pride and spirit of these young students will be on the line. Shippers are gonna go crazy over this stuff, man. But this sounds super fun and goofy, and we're gonna get into character profiles in just a second, but what I really love about this event is that it seems to still take like core aspects of the original Final Fantasy VII story, and eventually you will see their character traits for these characters, dials everything up to 11, and puts it in a high school setting, which is honestly super funny. So let's jump into the character bios where we get a little bit of info on the high school versions of these characters, starting off with Cloud. His quote says, "I'm gunning for Brawler first class." He's first year student, birthday is August 11th. He has 0 extracurricular activities, which is pretty funny. That's very Cloud of him to not have any activities after school. And apparently his interests and hobbies are practicing his swings. So Cloud's got one thing on the mind and one thing only, and that is becoming first class Midgar Brawler. Very much Cloud of the original game. He's a loner, he wants to be cool, and he's gonna do whatever he can to get there. Then we move on to Barrett, who is not a high school student. No, he's a gym teacher. He's straight up physical education, and his gun has been replaced by what looks like to be a fan, so he's going to be cooling himself down on some occasions. He's the coach of the baseball team, and he loves playing with his daughter, so that's very much Barrett. He's kind of like the dad of the group in the original FF7 as well as the remake series, so for them to kind of turn him into the gym teacher who is trying to round up all of these students to get them to actually do extracurricular activities and behave properly, that's very much Barrett's role in the main game of being the dad of the group. Next is Tifa. Her quote is, "Wake up, Cloud, or you'll be late." She is also a first-year student. Her extracurricular, of course, is karate, and she loves to bake sweets. Now, further on in this relationship stuff and the character breakdowns, Tifa is described as a goody two-shoes, at least from the viewpoint of Aerith. She also happens to be the class president, which again, I really love because they're taking that core concept of who Tifa is in the original game and the remake series of being the moral compass of the group, wanting to do the right thing, not wanting to hurt anyone, and they transfer it over into this adaptation of a high school setting, and she's now the class president, which is kind of funny, but that's still very much in line with her character. Up next, we have probably my favorite of the new character adaptations, and that's Aerith. They straight up turned her into a high school delinquent, which I think is freaking hilarious. Her quote says, "Trying to fight, better make it interesting." And I can hear Brianna White saying that exact quote. Aerith is a second-year student. She's the Team Cetra leader, and she likes taking care of her secret flower bed behind the school. So again, they took that more fiery, spunky aspect of Aerith's persona, amplified it to 11, and now turned her into a high school delinquent, getting into shenanigans, getting into fights, trying to cause some mischief, but she's got a heart of gold because she does like taking care of flowers, which I think is really sweet. Up next is Zack. His quote is actually very ironic, and it's, "The fight proves I'm alive," which has a lot of meanings there. Interestingly enough, Zack should be a second-year student, but he's now first because he was held back. So I love Zack. He's got some himbo qualities to him, so that would explain why he was held back, which I think is pretty funny. His birthday happens to be top secret. He, like Cloud, has no extracurricular activities, and much like Cloud, his hobbies are training to be Midgar Brawler first class. So Zack and Cloud, they got one thing on the mind, and that's being the best. Now, not to be outdone by the high school, there is a section of the academy, which is the private academy. This is probably for like all of the honors students, the overachievers of the world, and that includes Sephiroth and Angeal. Starting off with young Sephiroth, his quote, "A student council led by their emotions is second rate." Very much in line with Sephiroth again. He's very much not about feelings and emotions. He just wants to get the job done. He is a first-year student. His birthday is personal information. His blood type also top secret, and his extracurriculars are student council vice president. He's also interested in Kendo, which is a martial art, and he is a 7th Dan. Up next is Angeal, and his quote is actually really funny. It says, "You don't think I look like a high school student?" Angeal, second-year student. Birthday, maybe if you had asked nicely, but no dice. Again, they've added so much more character to Angeal through Ever Crisis compared to how he was in Crisis Core. For his blood type, it says, "I'll look into it eventually." So again, there's a lot of parallels between young Angeal and Zack, which I think is the right move to make his character way more interesting. I think you just pull those elements of Zack's personality while also adding a little bit more discipline, and you have Angeal now. It's great. His extracurriculars are student council president. In his interests and hobbies, he likes to farm, which, fits with his family, the dumb apples. He's very much a hard-working dude. And to round out the cast, we have Glenn, Matt, and Lucia, who are all teachers. Glenn is the art teacher, which makes a lot of sense. He's a very open-minded kind of guy. He's a little bit of a himbo at times, but he's so lovable. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Laguna from Final Fantasy VIII. So for him, he says he's still finding his stride as a teacher. So him being the art teacher, being into music, graphic design, I love that for him. Graphic design is my passion. That's very much Glenn. Matt is the political science as well as the economics teacher. He's the brains of the group, very smart guy, very tactician-like. He's also the quiz club advisor, and his interests and hobbies are memorizing pi. And then we have Lucia, which if Lucia was my teacher, I would never miss a day of school. She seems to be more of a strict type of teacher. Her quote is, "Shut up, that's an order," whatever you say. She happens to be the physics teacher. Extracurriculars are marksmanship club. Of course, she uses the guns in the group. She also likes taking care of her dog, so she's got a little bit of a soft side as well. And then we have a full-on relationship chart for all of the characters. I'll leave a link in the description to this image so you can check it out on your own. There's so much information and little Easter eggs and tidbits in this graph that I think are just freaking hilarious, but we'll go over just a few. Tifa and Aerith. For example, Aerith views Tifa as a goody two-shoes, while Tifa views Aerith as an intimidating upperclassman. Aerith, in regards to Zack, she straight up wants to take him out in a fight. Zack then responds with, "Ease up, all right?" So she's clearly being a little bit more dominating, a little bit more sassy towards Zack. Zack is trying to befriend Cloud by asking, "Do you like baseball?" But of course, Cloud, he's strictly focused on becoming Brawler First Class. And then you got poor Barrett down at the bottom, just trying to get his students to play baseball. He's asking every single one of them, "You gotta play ball." And then there's a connecting line between teachers of Barrett and Glenn, where Barrett views Glenn as the Shinra Academy enemy. They're going down. While Glenn looks at Barrett and he's like, "That's the teacher from the bad school," which I think is funny. To view like the younger high school students as the delinquents from the bad school, I think is hilarious. And then we'll take a look at Sephiroth and Angeal's relationship, because again, at this point in Ever Crisis, it's very icy. Angeel is trying to get this kid to open up, but it just ain't happening. So Angeel looks at Sephiroth as a kid with no social skills, which is true. Sephiroth is incredibly awkward. He just cares about the mission. At this point, he's been burned by trying to make friends, so he's like, "What's the point? I'm done with that." And he views Angeel as the overly friendly upperclassman. Sephiroth also views Glenn as a joke of a teacher, where Glenn views Sephiroth as loosen up, which is basically what their interaction was in Ever Crisis. They're just trying to get this kid to really open up and loosen up and try not to fall so under the influence of what Shinra and Hojo is doing to him. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out. So again, I'm super excited to see this event come out. I'm hoping, when it does release, we can cover it here on the channel, just kind of go over the main story to see what actually is going to happen. We do see in the trailer some combat between Tifa and Aerith, so I'm guessing there might be like a little bit of a tournament going on, or might be some altercations specifically from Aerith, who seems to be going around being a bully to everyone in like the cutest way possible. And again, I just really love that they can do events like this where they just have a silly twist on a very fun, loving, serious story, and take these characters and put them now into the world of a high school visual novel and just crank up the dial to 11 and have it be really funny and silly and goofy, while still staying true to the core story and the character personality traits. It's lovely. And again, I'll leave links in the description to the website, as well as that relationship chart, so you guys can check it out for yourself in detail. There's a lot of fun stuff in there. It's super silly. With that being said, that is the video. Let me know in the comments down below, what did you guys think so far of this Ever Crisis Academy 7 event that's going to be hitting the Ever Crisis game fairly soon? Specifically, do you have a favorite character adaptation? For me, it is Aerith. Seeing her going around just kind of being this delinquent, causing mischief and shenanigans, I think is adorable and also incredibly funny, because it does fit with her character. I am Curious Corduroy. I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.